Today, Vice President Mike Pence cast the tie-breaking vote in the Senate that will allow states to defund Planned Parenthood across the country. Now, the House passed a resolution last month disapproving of the Health and Human Services rule, which in December of last year barred states from defunding Planned Parenthood or other Title X recipients for any reason other than the provider's, quote, ability to deliver services to program beneficiaries in an effective manner. Which means that you can deny the funding if it turns out that they're not able to actually supply services and that sort of thing. But you can't simply take it down because you don't like what some of their clinics engage in your state or possibly in other states, like abortion services. So the Title X federal grant program enacted back in 1970 by Richard Nixon subsidizes preventive health care and family planning services for 4 million low-income Americans, roughly half of whom are uninsured and thus desperately need those subsidies. Planned Parenthood serves about a third of those people. Now, in terms of the context, 11 states have passed measures to block those funds from Planned Parenthood, despite the fact that Planned Parenthood is an incredibly popular organization. Now, if you bring up this poll, you might remember it from about a week or two ago, where Planned Parenthood there has a net plus 68 approval rating, making it the most popular organization in this Fox News poll, the same one that showed Bernie Sanders was the most popular politician in the country. So they are desperately trying to take away this funding, regardless of the damage it will do to extremely low-income Americans' abilities to get basic healthcare services, simply because they dislike one of the services that clinics like Planned Parenthood supply.
Okay, so two other things here that I think are really important to know. First is people think how Democrats are always weak. No. They say progressives are it's like herding cats, trying to organize them, get them to be effective. No, not remotely true. Back in 1970, progressives were so strong that Richard Nixon was deathly afraid of them. Passed the EPA, passed OSHA, and look at this, the Title X here to make sure he protected poor women. You think that's because Richard Nixon wanted to do that? No, Richard Nixon definitely did not want to do that, but he was so afraid of progressives and how strong they were that he cowered to them. That's what happened back when politics was not drowned in money, when they had to actually represent the voters.
Yeah.
The voters in this country have been deeply progressive for a long time on every single issue. But they came in and Richard Nixon, because he was pissed about this stuff, put a couple of conservatives on the Supreme Court, and they decided that putting corporate cash into politicians' pockets was now legal. And that was well before Citizens United. That's what ruined the whole country. So this is Nixon's revenge on us. Yeah. But back then, we broke him, okay? So just giving you historical context. Now, today, you fast forward to today. So Mike Pence yesterday was at an event where he was talking about empowering women. So I want you to understand something. Don't let the mainstream media deceive you. They're pretending like Donald Trump is some sort of monster that unlike we've never seen before. And the Republicans are all good, honorable gentlemen, but they're just, what could they do? Golly gee, there's this monster who's leading them now. No, they're all monsters.
Yeah.
Mike Pence is no less a monster. In fact, he works in the dark of night. And do you see the mainstream media going after Mike Pence in any way like they are after Donald Trump? Don't get me wrong, I think Trump totally deserves it. But so does Mike Pence. Mike Pence has been fighting against civil rights, against gay rights, against women's rights for his entire career. And he went down there, almost every Republican except to Lisa Murkowski and Susan Collins, not uncoincidentally.
The same two always.
They're more moderate women Republicans. Every other Republican, including Mike Pence, was like, yes, low-income women who desperately need help with their health care, let's crush them.
Yeah.
So that's what the Republican Party is about. That's the face of the Republican Party.
Yeah, now this isn't the end. Donald Trump will sign it. He's been very clear about that. And of course, this now just opens up the way for states to take away these funds. And many of them will enthusiastically do it. And they'll be able to do it in far more states than you might think they should be able to, considering the divide between Democrats and Republicans in this country, since Republicans have taken over far more state houses than their numbers actually imply they should. But this should be another reminder of the cost of losing elections, because you actually had a couple of Republicans, as Cenk pointed out, cross over. And so it had to go to a tiebreaker cast by Mike Pence, who would not have been able to effing vote if Donald Trump hadn't actually won. So now, literally millions of people might lose access to health insurance, might be literally cast out as a result of that. God knows what could happen in terms of births, in terms of treating disease, all of that, because elections matter.
And by the way, they did that video attacking Planned Parenthood, proven to be doctored wrong by every single prosecutor that looked at it. And now 2 of the people who did the secret recordings in California are facing 15 felony charges. Nonetheless, the Republicans, because they have no attachment to reality or the truth, are going around saying, well, the Planned Parenthood sells baby parts. It is not true. Your guys are going to jail because they lied about it, and you're still talking about how so we should defund them anyway, we should defund them anyway. It is not just Donald Trump. The Republican Party owns all those lies.
I can't believe that they're still talking about that goddamn video. It's been years since it was debunked. They're still talking about Acorn. Reality has no attachment to politics in America.
But look, the reason I get so mad at the mainstream media, and every day my anger towards them grows even more so, is because they pretend like it isn't so. They call it even. They call it even. Like the Republican Party, other than Donald Trump, are filled with honorable gentlemen who just happen to disagree. No, they did not sell baby parts. That's not a Republican say this and Democrats say that. That's all the prosecutors in all the different states, including all the Republican prosecutors locked into it. They did not sell baby parts. It's not true. Yet all those Republican senators and congressmen are going around saying it is true and defunding Planned Parenthood. Well, then call them what they are, liars. You are now all of a sudden a little comfortable doing it with Donald Trump because he's not among your establishment friends.
Yeah.
But when it comes to your establishment buddies in the Republican Party, oh, I can't call them liars. Oh my God, that would be so biased in favor of facts.
Mike Pence signed a bill requiring women to have funerals for aborted fetuses. How do you have him on without asking him a question about that? How is he allowed into a forum on empowering women? How did he get through the doors?
No, the mainstream media, they disgust me. Because they give so much credibility to Mike Pence. You notice that every time. Oh, Trump, oh, that's crazy. Oh, but Mike Pence came in.
Because he looks more like a regular Republican.
Yeah, oh, Mike Pence, he's an establishment guy. No, he's bringing stability to the Trump administration, where they do horrific things in the middle of the night with Mike Pence. But shh, don't talk about it on TV. Don't talk, because Mike Pence, he's one of us. He's an honorable gentleman. Young Turks membership creates independent media.
Believe me.
No ads.
Believe me.
All the shows.
Believe me.
On demand.
Believe me.
Support independent media.
Believe me.
It's awesome, tremendous. You'll love it.
Believe me.
And by the end, you'll be thinking,
I'm like a smart person.
tytnetwork.com/join.